All right, we have made it to episode 8 of the SBG podcast, and today I'd like to welcome my next guest,
Claire Doucet.
Claire Doucet.
Yeah.
Yep. And, I was like drawing a blank right there for a second. Don't fault me. Had a lot of stuff going on at work today. But the reason that we have you on today is because Claire and I were both at my wife's, she had a styled shoot about a month ago or so now. And
Has it been that long already?
I think so. It's been like three weeks, I would say, about
Like, flew
now.
by.
And you were doing all the makeup there, and it came
Yeah.
out fantastic.
Yeah,
And,
testing the waters.
So then I was like doing my networking thing, and I was like, all right, man, I got to get some people on over here. And you actually, followed up with me about that. So here we are.
Yeah, like I had definitely like inquired because I was just like, oh, like I felt like you were so passionate about it, and I was like, oh, like let me just like go check it out. I was like not expecting you to be like, oh, you want to be on it, and then I was like, oh,
Absolutely.
I was like, you know what, like I've learned a lot like in the past couple years to just like put yourself out there and to like really like connections are everything. You never know like who's out there who may need your services or just like hear what you have to say or whatever the case may be. So always like networking is just so huge.
Right. And it's
Making
like
connections.
You never know, it's like you cast out a lot of lines and you never know who's actually going to bite. So that's super cool to see actually, how things develop. But so you do the makeup deal, and how long have you been, how did you get into that?
Okay. So it's like kind of a long story because I had like started hair. I went to college for like a little while, and then I just like through it all, I kind of like was just trying to figure out like college just wasn't for me, and that's okay. And I was just trying to figure out like another way where I could like do something. And I don't remember the exact story on like how I exactly got started necessarily. I just felt like that was kind of something like I was passionate about, and like you meet people along the way, and I was like, oh, maybe I should like try that out. Like college is, I don't really know where I want to go, what I want to do. So I got started with that, and then I went to hair school and all that. And whenever I got into it, even like all my friends, like I would say like I'd want to go through that, and they were like, yeah, like absolutely, that's so up your alley. And I was like, what? And so like they like already knew like that was something that I was like interested in. Sometimes you just like don't know like at first.
Yeah.
And then so going through hair school.
Was it Aveda, the hair school?
So I went to Cosmetology Training Center in Lafayette.
Okay.
It's kind of like off of Ambassador.
Man, I want to say, I think my mom might have gone. Is it newer or is it old? Is it older? Place?
It's old, and then we were the first class that started in the new building. So it used to be like real old school.
Man, I bet you my mom went to the same place when she was
Probably
going
so.
through cosmetologist. That's crazy.
Yeah, that school has been there for a long time. So yeah, it was good. So after that, I got started. I have been in like multiple salons and, gained a lot of experience in different ways. Some in Lafayette, some along the way, like in Rain, where I am now. Mm-hmm. And so I had like gained a lot of experience, like talking just like a little fast forward. And then I took like a year off to pursue. Recently, I took a year off to pursue a different business, and all in all, learned a lot, grew a lot as a person. It didn't work out, which is fine, but I think it just like led me back to like where I am now. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like I'm never like not gonna do hair ever again. Like I feel like this is like not that I'm not gonna like not do it. Should I say? That
like
makes
you have
sense.
the capabilities,
yeah.
but it's
like
not
I'm
the
like this is
preferred
it.
avenue.
Yeah, like I feel like this is like my last chance and it's actually so crazy because I feel like I'm almost having like a I'm able to like redo things over again in a way because the salon that I'm at now, I was able to like I came back. Like I was there for a couple years before, then took the year off, and then like was pregnant, decided to close the business with the other business venture, and then had the baby, went through postpartum, like within that kind of like also postpartum, like did hair, then came back to it, and I was like, and then I was in Lafayette for a little while, and then I came back to Rain. Like I randomly texted her, I was like, do you know of anybody who has like any openings, because I know you know a lot of people like salon wise. And she was like, actually I do have an opening. And I was like, stop, like are you serious?
Nice.
She's like, I just hadn't been posting about it. So I was just like, yeah, like absolutely, like I'm coming back. So I came back in October of last year, part-time, because I was still like, I didn't want to come back full-time because I do booth rent. And then I was just like so amazed and blessed, like I went full-time January of this year, and
Nice.
It's been crazy. Like I was just looking back at my week today, and I was like, oh my gosh, like freaking booked out. Like,
so whenever you
like, it's kind of like a roller coaster, but like this week has been amazing. Like, so it's been good.
Awesome. So whenever you got back into it with that current employer that you're at right now, did you have to like build up a repertoire of people again? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm really going like hardcore, like trying to build up clientele right now. So like, I mean, I'm to a point where like I'll stay or I'll go sit at the salon because there's a really good walk-ins. At that salon, I will say there's amazing.
And what's the name of the salon so people know where to find
you? So
you?
yeah, Hello Beautiful Salon in Rain. So shout out to Jordan for being so amazing.
Nice.
And yeah, like especially like giving me a second chance because I'm like, man, this is like amazing. I mean, she's always like been so nice and everybody's like welcome back. But like, yeah, it's really cool to be like welcomed back to a salon.
Yeah.
You know?
And in somebody in her position, it would be cool to see somebody talk about it from your position too, because to them it may have seemed like an off the cuff, like, oh, she might not have had any plans to, give that position to anybody in particular, but how it affected your life and career is important,
Yeah.
So I'm sure that if she ever watches this, it'll be interesting to see what she has to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like another reason I had like gave up hair for a year or two, because I was like pursuing another business venture, and like I just felt like, oh, there was always something else that I needed to do to like make ends meet, like, right? Because like, I mean, honestly, like they'll tell you it takes about like 4 to 5 years to truly build up your clientele, like consistently.
Right. So that's
some people it's different stories, but like on the average it takes about that long. Yeah. So you have to like really hustle.
So it's like a mix of like people coming in that you don't know, that you have to like, they randomly are like, hey, you got anybody that does makeup here? Is that basically how it goes? And
yeah,
then
like basically, yeah. I mean, I do makeup too. I do a lot of like haircuts, hair colors, and then like I'm starting to kind of like get back into makeup. Okay. And like kind of like that's why I had like literally signed up for. I seen like your wife had put the post about it, about like the photo shoot, and I was like, oh my gosh, like Jean's a makeup artist, like I'm 100% in. Like this is like a perfect opportunity for me to kind of like get my feet wet again, like doing weddings, because weddings is a whole different ball game.
Right? Is that
like
where
that
the
is
real
not like
dough
working
is
behind?
at?
Yeah, that's not working behind the chair. That is a whole like, oh yeah, it's like I've worked a couple weddings previously, so before I had taken that year off, and they're intense. Like it's like you're on a time clock, like. There's always something that goes wrong. It's just like, I mean, it's also like exhilarating and fun. So like if you like that like adrenaline rush, and like it really is like really good, especially like clientele wise too. Like, I mean, once you book usually 1 or 2 weddings, like people refer you, and like, you're able to like go on location. So it's like, yeah, you can work at the salon, but you can also like go on location and work there too. Yeah. So like you can do whatever you want to do. You could be a traveling makeup artist, like, and that's really where I want to be too. Like I want to do that as well. Okay. Like more into it. Yeah.
And then once you like lock in a few things that you're able, events that you're able to, do the makeup for them, then it's on display. Like everybody can see how well you do.
Yeah. And there's so many people like that, like in events. I mean, even if you have like 6 or 7 girls or 7 to 14, whatever the case may be, even if it's small, I mean, they have friends and family, and like there's usually a good bit of people there.
And then all the slew of pictures comes out, and it's all the free advertising. And I'll post the pictures from the mock wedding that you did. So that was
it was nice. Great. Like I was like, this is cool, and it was nice to kind of try out like the photo shoot, because it was like nobody was like nervous or stressing because it wasn't like a real wedding, So it was like
there's still like a time constraint, but it wasn't so pressured.
Yeah, so it's kind of like like no pressure, and then you could kind of just like work as without like the pressure of it. So that was really nice. I could see
how that would be like an assembly line of like, you don't want your quality to slip, but also it's like, oh man, I gotta get all these people through.
It's kind of like, okay, you want to like work more on your timing and things like that. Like there's so many things. And to kind of also like answer your question that you'd asked me earlier about like how does it work, like when people like call in. But yeah, it's basically like people call in wanting, a lot of people call in for like haircuts, but they'll call in for like colors and stuff too, or makeup sometimes too. And it's basically like I mean, in the beginning, I feel like the best way to explain it, in the beginning, they kind of call you like a little baby stylist. So you're kind of like, the best way to put it, you're like testing the water. So you take everything. You take colors, you get cuts, you take mince cuts, you do it all. And you figure out like, you know what you're passionate about. And doing all that, you were like, oh, I love doing this and I love doing that. And that's kind of like, I feel where you see like blonde specialists. You'll be like, some girls at the salon only do like hairstyling for like events, and some people only do makeup, and some people do both. So it's kind of like you find like what you're passionate about and what you feel like you're the best at and where you want to like improve your skills. And I feel like that's kind of like where I am in my career. I'm kind of like making a switch. Like I'm still not really like a baby stylist anymore, because I've had about almost 5 years, if you put it together, of experience. Okay, yeah. It's just kind of been like here and there, like I had a good chunk of it consistently, and then I took a break, and then it came back, which I'm grateful for. But like I've also been able to like gain a lot of experience from different salons, which I feel like is beneficial, because everything is different and every area and like is a cool different clientele. So it's good to know like those different kind of people, different clienteles. So I feel like that's really cool to know that. And then like you kind of like take a shift. I feel like in the industry they're actually more like specialized in certain things. Like stylists are becoming like, I mean, I don't know if you like went to a stylist for like hair like growing up, where you went to like one person. Or it
was pretty much all my mom.
Yeah. Hey, that's okay though. My mom still to this day will like confidently be like, I can cut it. Yeah. like she cuts my dad's hair sometimes. Like still I'm like, I could cut it, and she's like, it's okay. He just like really wanted it that. I was like, it's fine. But she's so confident about it. Like even if she's not doing like the best job, she's like, I got it.
Well, my mom had her own cosmetology business for a while, so I remember like.
Oh, because your mom. Oh, so you did say your mom went to. Okay,
and
yeah.
She had a shop right there in Karen Crow, and
nice.
She had that like chair. I don't know if you have that at your place. You probably do, where you like sit in and it's like a perm chair. It's like heated or whatever. I would turn that thing on and I'd just pass out in there with the thing like baking me right there.
Literally baking it. Yeah, that's cool. It's like you probably seen like a lot of stuff when it came to like, you know, growing up probably like in a hair salon if your mom was a stylist.
Constantly over there. I'd have my little Game Boy, the old school one, the big brick, and I had like a little auxiliary thing I'd plug in so I didn't have to have batteries, and I would just all day in there listen to old ladies talk about random stuff.
It's always, we tell people all the time, like, you come get your hair, it's a hair and a show. Like it's always something. It's fun. Everybody's always cutting up. There's always stories to be told.
Yeah, all the local tea, I was about to say.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's always something. Like people always slip up and say stuff, or like they'll be like, oh, guess what? I'm like, oh, you know, and like you can't. It's just fun, you know. It's cool to have that relationship with like your clients, and you know, kind of be like the first to know on things, and it's cool, you know. I love to do that. I think that's like probably like my favorite part of the job is like doing that, and like also, I mean, besides like being creative and things, it's also like you're part of your clients' lives, you know. Like you get to like all these events. Like I did a girl the other day, like her 8th grade prom. Like that's a huge, you know. We do proms. We do like, you know, like baby showers, you know, like things like that. Like it's just like every little milestone. So it's really cool. I feel like that's like the most like heart touching. Like that's the coolest part of the job.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I remember whenever I was going to my barber briefly before, it was like 2017 and 2019, I want to say, and it was cool just being able to hang out and, you know, shoot the shit with him and catch up, because it's different whenever you can like, I don't know, whenever you have like a total stranger that you don't really care if you're like, you know, if they judge you on whatever you got going on, and you can tell your crazy stories and all that stuff. That's probably how some of your clients feel with you. It's like, well,
yeah, I don't know what it is about the chair. They just like open up. It's insane. I love it though. Like I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Have you ever had any kind of like crazy customers that may have just like caused a scene or anything like that?
I mean, not like really.
No.
I mean, I've heard some stuff for sure, like some crazy stuff. I'm like, okay, like you didn't have to tell me that, you know. But I just like sometimes if you don't know what to say, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Yeah. You know, like sometimes just like you don't have a reply. You know,
yeah.
It's just crazy.
Or like any customers that you just didn't see eye to eye with, or is there always?
Yeah,
like...
I mean, there's always like gonna be that, but I mean, you just have to like set boundaries and know like what, you know, like this is it, like, you know, either I'm at home or like I'll reply to you. You know, at the end of the day, like we have these relationships with our clients and we love them, and you know, you still want to set boundaries with ones who push the boundaries too. You know, at the end of the day, you know, you gotta like, if you're home with your family, like just reply to them the next day, or be like, hey, like I'll check my schedule when I get to the salon or something like that, you know. So there's certain things that if you'd want to, like, I feel like you know when to, like, you have to set boundaries with some people.
Or like, how about what is it? My one of my buddies at work was talking about it, how his barber has like a policy of like you can't cancel on him within a certain amount of time, otherwise you have to pay him for that one, and then also the next time that you go in.
I mean, I haven't like dabbled in that yet because I feel like I'm not there like in my career, and I feel like a lot of people like at my salon don't really do that I know of. That's such a touchy subject. It really is. But I do understand, like, as in, like,
burned,
you know, I mean,
time slots is
you
everything.
have a certain income that you're making consistently. I mean, you know, you wouldn't want somebody else to go to your job and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't pay you for the last hour that you worked here. You know what I mean? Like, so I see that, and I feel like if you kind of like go off as professional and set boundaries when you can, like, you kind of like, you know, people will respect you for that. Or like some people will be like, I know there's girls at the salon that they like their clients know, like, they don't like message back past 5 o'clock because like they know like they're with their family, and like they, you know, it's like you have to kind of keep like a consistent thing. So, but I mean, I feel like it's starting to get better, but yeah, a lot of people don't really kind of like, I guess, like respect like stylists, because they're like, oh, it's just, you know, hair or whatever, and they don't like treat it as like, you know. So that's like kind of like
a step above a waiter. You can just do whatever, and there's no consequences or anything like that. I think it's
more of like a service based, not necessarily like stylists in general. I think it's just like a service based like job that you're doing, like you're providing a service to somebody, and they're just kind of like, well, you need to just do it now, or like, why would you take a day off, or, you know, I mean, I don't like have those kind of clients, thankfully, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, you know what boundaries to make, and, you know, you have to like also respect like your time off too, like, and you don't have to like always explain it. You just be like, oh, I'm taking a day off.
And then especially like the time on your feet. I'm sure while you were like, whenever you were about to have your kid, I'm sure it's like leading up to that point, it gets harder and harder to stay on your feet for long periods like that. Yeah. Luckily, I wasn't like really truly. I had like just got back doing hair like right before I had him, so like I had like a few months. So I like was working part time, so it was fine. But yeah, it was like definitely tougher. Especially like with I think like it was so funny with the blow dryer. Like I would be like blow dry, and I had to like kind of maneuver the way I'd blow dry, because usually I'd like blow dry with this, and a lot of the hot air would hit me, and he would start moving in my belly. Oh, really?
Like, so I had to like totally like start blow drying a totally different way, because like he would like feel the heat.
That's
and
That's
I was
crazy.
like, oh shoot, are you like bumping people with your belly? You're just like, I'm sorry. Like, oops. You're just like, yeah, I mean, that's always fun. But yeah, luckily after that, like I had luckily I got to like have time off, a good amount of time off, and I was kind of just like kind of filling it out and kind of seeing where I was and building clientele, because when I had left the first time, I lost like a lot of my clientele, but coming back, I feel like I gained a good bit, like a few of mine back, which I knew I wasn't going to get like all of them, obviously, you know, and I'm so happy like they're happy, you know.
At least you had some cushion coming back there. You didn't have to start from scratch again.
Yeah, so which is nice. And I feel like being in Lafayette versus being in Rain, I learned so much in Lafayette, but I feel like I know a lot more people like in Rain, and I feel like I was already there before, so it was kind of like, oh, like cool, like you're back. Like once the word kind of got out, it was kind of like, which I'm glad like I have like a good reputation over there, and it's just like, you know, I'm doing everything that I can to like build my skill and do, you know, you're still gonna make mistakes, and you have to like give yourself grace, but like at the end of the day, like, you know, I feel like everybody respects you if you're trying and you're putting in the work, and I feel like it's always going to come back to you.
Yeah, for sure. It's easy to slip up and get into that negative headspace. It happens constantly with everything.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I've been just trying to be like more like learning more of like baby steps, just like in life in general, and like not everything can happen like right now, and you know, you have to take baby steps that lead to like big steps. Like, a few baby steps lead to like one giant step, so it's kind of like learning how to do that and giving yourself grace and knowing that like, you know, it's going to come with time and experience, and like I said, if you're putting in the work, it's 100% going to come back to you.
Yeah,
and I feel like I'm already seeing it, so it's
or like taking a step back and looking at where you are compared to whenever you first started. It's like, I actually am making progress. Like, it doesn't feel like it whenever you're doing the day-to-day, but over time,
like the day-to-day is just like, it can get tough and be like, you know, like just focus on the things that you don't have. So I feel like if you're like in the moment grateful for the things that you do have, then you're like able to like open up and be blessed with like more. So.
And optimally, like where would you see yourself in the future whenever you're like have all your chips in the right places where you'd like to have them, you know, professionally? Like, would you be still at that salon but then making, you know, the side hustle more, or like would you be leaning more into like doing the wedding stuff and still have the salon job, or would you just be doing weddings and that's pretty much?
So I definitely feel like I would be double dipping for sure.
Yeah, because it's good to have that, like,
yeah, because I love being behind the chair, like I really do. But I also like would love like traveling and being able to like do more wedding parties and things like that. And then, but I'm also kind of like my 5-year plan, because I have a little boy, is like, you know, in the next 3 to 4 years, I mean, he's gonna be in something, you know what I mean? He's gonna have to go here, there, somewhere. I mean, they start T-ball really young. So I was like, we definitely got to put him in there. Yeah, I think they started like three and a half. It's like really young. It's like T-ball, and then there's like something like pre-T-ball. There's like a little...
The Wii ball. That's what we were doing.
Yes.
So Sam is 3, and we had him at the Church Point Wii ball, and it is hilarious.
That's so cute. I'm definitely putting him in there. And I'm like, I don't want to miss his games, so it's like I have flexibility in my schedule. So I'm like, I'm working as many Saturdays as I possibly can right now. So like every Saturday, like I don't even care right now, because I know in the next few years I'm gonna be limiting them.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious to watch from the parents' point of view, because like they, you know, they're not. I'll give an example, right? This little girl hit the ball off of the tee, and then it fell like a few feet from her, and then she runs over and picks it up and like hands it to the other team, and I'm like, oh wow, you know, that's the sportsmanship. It might not be the correct team you handed it to, but or they'll be fighting each other trying to get the ball, so it's more like football at that point.
Yeah, it's just kind of like they just do what they want, you know, like kind of like. But I mean, I feel like you could teach that from early on.
Oh yeah, so it's pretty hilarious. Yeah, and that's a whole thing too now, is like trying to juggle having a kid and going into your endeavors and everything. Are you planning on having more kids, or are you sticking with the one?
So like when we first had him, I was like no more for a while. But now that like he's older, and I feel like I'm like, okay, like he still needs me for the most part, but like he's very independent, like, you know, like he's getting older, he's about to be a year, you know, he's about to, so I feel like, you know, like he can walk now, like things are good.
That helps a lot.
I mean, he's everywhere, but like
it helps, but it also, that's the flip side of the coin, is it can get all into the pantry and everything else.
Oh yeah. It's like a whole different ball game. I feel like the newborn stage, it just like took me out, because it was just like a lot. But it was nice to put him down. He stayed there. Now like put him down, he's across the house. I mean, it is what it is. But I love this stage. It's such a fun stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do definitely want like more kids. Just we have a lot of personal goals, and I would say like business goals to hit before that. So I would definitely give us a few years for sure.
I would say from experience, I was weary about it at first, and then as Lila, my daughter, got older, she started to be able to help a lot more with Sam. So then it does, you know, people say that it gets easier the more you have. To some degree that is true, because then they get older and you have more helping hands around the house. Like she's wanting to mop the floors these days and help out with chores. I'm like, you can for sure do that.
Yeah, like absolutely.
Fold some clothes. Go ahead.
They do like those toy like vacuums and stuff like that actually work, but they, you know, only you know they work. Yeah. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Look, the chores are crazy. Oh yeah. Absolutely, but.
So I always have a segment where I talk about cooking and food, because that is just an overlapping thing, you know, common ground for all peoples. You know, before I wasn't even like facing it head on. I was just like ended up talking about cooking and stuff. But now I'm just like embracing it fully.
Let's do it.
So what is a favorite dish that you like to cook? Do you like to cook anything?
Okay, so. Hit
me with it.
I am not a cooker. I know I'm like, that's probably like, dang.
Well,
but yeah, I'm really not the cook. I'm really not. But I don't like hate cooking. I'm just not like a big cook. But I don't like not like it. Like I do like it. I just like every day it's like, ugh.
Oh
like,
yeah, I feel that.
But I mean, I'm trying to think about like things. I mean, I cook a lot of breakfast, but like I guess like my favorite dish. Oh man, I really don't cook that much. It's terrible.
Well, if you don't have a favorite dish that you cook, what is your preferred dish that you like to eat? Is it sushi, or like not a big sushi fan?
No, we love sushi.
Yeah,
we love sushi. I'm just trying to think like, do I love something more than sushi?
The wallet does not like sushi though. That is the problem.
I know we hit up Sushi Maze because it's like we get a lot for on the list.
You know,
all the time.
I was on a kick of trying to make my own sushi, because that's like the last bastion.
Making your own sushi is fun.
It's fun.
It is.
I like the raw stuff personally.
Oh yeah, I haven't messed with the raw. I'm too scared.
I know, right? That's the last hurdle I'm trying to overcome, because I'm like, you know.
I would like watch some videos before I do it. If I was you.
It's like I could.
I'd be like, well.
I could save $5 right here, but I could also give myself botulism on accident. And that's not so fun, you know. Botulism is food poisoning for the not wanting to Google that.
Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah.
like, it's so crazy because I don't really like love cooking. My mom was always like the cook, and so like I didn't really like it's like have to like growing up and stuff like that because like she just always like she loves cooking. That's like her thing.
Yeah.
So I was just like, and I never really took much interest in it. But I do really like to like. I think me in general, I like to like entertain, and I love to do like the setting up of the like the tables and everything, and like you know putting the not necessarily like cooking the food, I guess, but like displaying it. That's more of like my jam, and like making everything like real cute and like you know having like the cute little plates. You know, like that's more of like my jam. Like everybody else can like cook the food, and then I'll like set it all up.
Have you ever tried to do like a charcuterie board then, or
Yeah.
charcuterie, however you say it?
Charcuterie? Yeah, I know it's so hard to say.
That sounds like it'd be
charcuterie
something
board.
up your alley if you like
Yeah.
just the presentation of it.
Yes, I'm more of like the presentation. That's like I feel like that's where I'm at. I'm very like everything's like neat, like OCD. Like I like things. I don't like clutter. Like it drives me up a wall. Like yeah. So I'm more. That's more of like kind of up my alley. But
So
I do love to like taste all the food.
Yeah, you probably appreciated that the charcuterie spread at the styled shoot. Then were you there for that?
I didn't. I seen it, but I didn't like. I guess like everything else was like going on. Then I had to like get back. It was kind of like back to back. I did see it, but I didn't even realize they even had
it got
food.
torn apart before you got in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was probably gone by the time. But I did see. I noticed like all the pictures. I was like, man, I really missed out on a lot. But I was like, I guess I didn't stay after because I was like, dang, I gotta get back.
Yeah, that was
because it was a little bit of a drive. I'm not even gonna lie.
It was a marathon day. That was so crazy. Like looking back on that, I think we got there at like 9 in the morning and we didn't leave till like 8 o'clock that night. I want to say.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like having to help pick up like the guy and the chick that were doing the bartending there. They had those big old walls that they had set up. Did you see those things?
I think I had seen like I see a lot in the pictures, honestly. But I kind of seen some stuff.
They had like 3 big built out plywood and 2x4 walls that they had brought, and they were like, you know, it was this chick that was like, you know, can you help my husband do this thing and you know pull him out? So we walked from his truck like a good you know, a couple hundred yards with these things back and forth, positioning them in different ways, and it was like adding on to all these different, you know, got a good workout that day.
Yeah, I could have imagine. I know that was a lot though. Like to like put something on like that. I mean, that's no easy task to do that.
It was interesting to hear about it for so long before it actually happened, and then to get there and see that it, you know, it went down the way that it was, you know, intended to. It's like, holy shit, so much planning and effort.
I know, it's like you really think about like what like wedding planners go through, and like I just feel like the stress, like I could never. There's like no way. Like I'll get y'all ready, and that's about it.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. I was supposed to get the owner of that house on the show, but I don't know, we lost connection. I'm gonna have to try him again. He was pretty cool. I don't know if you had spoken with him. Yeah,
I think we had spoken when we like first got there, and that was about it.
He ended up hooking us up with like some goose meat and like alligator after the thing. They had like that big old banquet the night before, and so he like hit us up with that, and I was making some what was it, like a peach rosemary sauce to go with that goose afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, see, I'm so picky with what I have to eat. Like I'm like, I don't really eat like anything like crazy or odd or anything like that. I should. My husband does. He will eat whatever. But like I don't know. Like I think somebody had cooked some deer, and I thought I liked deer, and like they cooked it like too fresh. They like killed it, and then like the next couple of days, and like you could smell it.
It was like gamey.
It was way too gamey. I was like, I cannot do this. I almost don't even really eat like pork. Like I don't really like pork besides like bacon sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy.
What about?
I'm just really weird.
What about picky. Like ramen, like Izumi type ramen?
I don't eat it a lot, but I don't like dislike it.
We started trying to dabble in that. There's like the low tier.
There is a place in Lafayette that does like the ramen.
Yeah, Izumi.
Yeah, I don't know if Izumi. Is that what it is? I've never actually been there, but I've tasted some.
It's fantastic, before. But it's like $15 a bowl, so we try and like replicate it as best we can over here.
Yeah. I think our parents had went and they I like had some of their leftovers, and it was really good. Yeah. But I was like, I'm not like huge on ramen. I guess is how you would say it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something. It's like one of those things where you just gotta like try and figure out how they make it as best you can. But the little like they make it's called a shin, and then there's like the red, and then there's the black packs, and those are like, instead of being $1 a piece, they're $2 a piece. So you gotta step
yeah.
it up a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
well worth it if you
Yeah,
can.
absolutely. If you like it, you like it. Absolutely.
Well, let's take a little break and get some refreshments right here.
All right.
All right. So we're back. Got a little tea. I made a conscious effort this go round to not drink alcohol for this
Oh, look,
this show right
okay,
here.
Okay.
And you know, honestly, it's because if this starts becoming more of a thing, like I do more episodes, more days a week, then I don't want to have to always rely. Every time that I interview somebody, I'm like, all right, let me start this alcoholism up right here.
Right. I know, like, and then you don't want to be like, just, all like, be like, wait, what were we saying?
Yeah, it definitely helps the conversation flow, but I didn't want it to become like a crutch, right? Where I'm like, I can't talk to people unless I'm drinking. Then I'm like dependent on it. And it's like, just a bad path to
Yeah,
go.
you don't want to start that habit. That would be really bad. Yeah, absolutely.
But next episode, you can bet I'll be slamming them. But so during the break, we were talking about, any kind of crazy, interesting stories you might have from your profession. So indulge us with those stories, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, there's not like a whole lot of like crazy stories, I guess is what. I guess like the only thing that really comes to mind was like this one time I was working at a salon in Lafayette, and these people had came in and basically wanted me to like cut off their dreads, and they were going to do like some kind of like, they were telling me they were going to do some kind of like spiritual, I don't know, something with them. And I just felt like, I was just a brand new stylist, and it's like you can't say no, you're working under somebody, and like it's not like you could be like, I really don't feel comfortable doing that, and you just got to do it and just try your best. And I was just like, and then they just like kept their dreads, and I was just like, they were like, go and do something with it. I was like, please do not put no juju on me. Like, better not.
So were they like,
I don't know,
any
they
kind
were
of
like
chanting or anything while they were doing it?
No, I don't know. It was just very different, and I don't know. It was weird. I don't know. I was like, don't. They had something to do with like, if you cut off your hair, you have to like do some kind of something. I was like, oh my gosh, because I'm the one cutting the hair, they better not like do nothing.
That's
but
interesting.
that was just like, yeah, that was weird. That was very weird. And I was like, it just sucked that I couldn't say like, no, like I don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah. Well, that
was an experience. I feel like we all have like very fun experiences.
Yeah, earned your badge on that one.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, did that. Not doing that again. It's not my specialty.
How about any interesting people that you may have gotten to meet in your profession? Have you rubbed elbows with some interesting people?
I know we like chatted before a little bit, but there's definitely like some interesting people and some like people who like are absolutely amazing. I mean, there's a lot of people in general. I mean, are we saying names? Or are we not saying names?
If you want to give a shout out, go for it.
I mean, like, there is some amazing people, and I just like feel bad for like saying one person's name and not saying another person's name, because there's so many people that I've met like throughout my career and like have molded me into like the stylist that I am today. But like in general, like just like being able to meet people, like going to like hair classes and doing things like that, and like being able to meet people who do like absolutely amazing work, and being able to like it's just like I guess I'll shout him out because I thought he was cool. Yeah, I thought he was cool. But I went to like a hair class. And I'll shout out Darian too. So Darian owns Main Salon, like the main loft, and she had put on like a color class, and we had met like some amazing stylists within that as well. But the one that like definitely sticked out to me, which I felt like was AJ. He's called like the Edge Beautician, and I just feel like he was like so humble and like, but also like absolutely amazing with what he does. And I just think it's like so crazy because like being like that booked out, and then being able to like have to have a deposit to even get on the books is absolutely insane. That's when you're like real talented. Yeah. So, and just like have somebody like else who's like that amazing and doing work like that, and being able to like like I said, like rub elbows with them and be able to like conversate with them and send them messages at any time. I mean, there's so many amazing people that I've met like throughout this career. I mean, there's like owners of salons that like I think are amazing.
And then you finally,
there's so many people. I mean, the people that I work with are amazing. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then
I've definitely like learned like in my, not to cut you off, but like definitely in my part time, like when I'll have time, I mean, I'll watch other stylists. I'm learning from them. Like, I'm like, I want to know like how you're doing that color. I want to know like what's your placement, you know, like things like that. Like I want to know like there's so much like just watching somebody who is, you know, booked out, who is highly requested, you know, like you kind of like adopt some of the habits that they do. And then you're wanting to like, you're like, okay, well, how can I like make my client's experience better, and how can I get better at formulating and things like that. So
like a case study of success. So emulating them is
literally
a pretty good bet on you'll be able to achieve some level of greatness like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm hoping, I think my biggest goal is to like, because I've been helped so much in my career, and I've had so many people, like obviously the people that I work with are incredible, and then like the people along the way to get me where I am today is like, I want to be able to be like the teacher one day to somebody else, to get them to where I was, to you know, where I want to be. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe like I see like a huge future with it, because I know like I'm passionate about it, and I love like teaching other people. Like I'm like it's just something I love to do.
And that's like a good marketing strategy too, because you're able to get a congregation of people, you know, you can show them how you do things, and then they'll go and talk about, you know, you, as you're talking about the people that, you know, you looked up to in that profession. So that's definitely an interesting thing. It's like a self-feeding cycle, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that idea. I did something similar at my work where I was trying to get people into the game development space. So then I did a little, basically it was kind of a crash course class over lunch, where I had most of the office, we call them lulls, learning over lunch. And we basically had put together a PowerPoint presentation, and you know, went through all the ins and outs, you know, high level of how to make a game and what it all goes into it. You know, obviously not covering every base, but trying to just encourage people to get into it. And it was pretty cool to see some people, you know, keeping up, and they're still keeping up with it, you know, talking to me about games. And that's a huge part of like helping you network too, is like what is the slogan, you know, your network is your net worth.
Yeah, it's so true.
So that helps you find people that is, you know, you would jive with in that circle. It's pretty interesting. And
I think that's what I've learned in the year that I took off, because I was in that company that I was telling you about. And just to not mention it, just for things, basically was, they really pushed like personal development and like really being uncomfortable, in which I feel like would go a lot in so many things, like in whatever you do. Like, I mean, if you're not, like you said, if you're not networking, I mean, you're not growing, you're not trying to level up. And I mean, you have to like be in the rooms. I mean, people who are succeeding and people who are on top are never going to make fun of you. You know what I mean? People aren't going to be like, oh, I can't believe they're doing this or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, so. What do we got here? A little visit from Sam right there.
I was like, what's going on? Yeah. And what do you do for work? I don't think we even hit on that.
Yeah, so for my main job, I work at Techno in Scott. And I'm actually going to be having one of the business owners, one of my bosses, on the podcast in a couple of weeks. So that's going to be super interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Mr. Ben Johnson.
Better watch what you say.
I know, right?
He might hold it against you at work. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he's super cool. Everybody that I work with is super cool. And
what do you do there? Because I'm like trying to figure it out.
So I do, we work with a program called Signet. And we're like contractors. Well, my group is, and we work for Devon Energy in Oklahoma. Okay. And that's been super interesting over the years. I've been working under that group for probably like 6 years, I want to say now. Okay. And we got to go up to the Devon Tower and hang out and eat lunch. They have like a really awesome restaurant on their, like, I don't even know, 30th floor of the building. And I had to overcome my, fear of flying. Not so much a fear, it's just like you're not in control. And you're like in this metal tube going 500 miles an hour. It's kind of spooky when you think about it.
Yeah, no, I totally get it.
The Xanax helped a little bit, calm me down. But yeah, it's been interesting. But that's kind of how I got into the game development stuff, because at Techno, I was doing a little bit. It's a lot of different skill sets that you could potentially use in your job. Like if you know how to code, that becomes an asset to a team, right? So then they might grab you for that. Or if you know how to do XML or, different things. So I wanted to get better at coding. And so then I dabbled in video game development because I had heard that if you're just doing exercises, it's not much that's going to keep you, invested mentally with it. So I wanted the learning to be the byproduct of whatever the main thing was. And I really liked video games, and there was always something that I was like, oh, I could add to this and my own flair to it. So then I kept up with it, and I was like, man, maybe I'll try and do this as like a side hustle.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying I was doing this podcast this week, and one of my clients ended up finding out he loved video games, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, hold on, I'm about to connect real quick. So I was like, wait, hold on, I'm going on this podcast. He literally started the podcast because of gaming. I was like, I'm sure y'all would have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And he really is very passionate about it too, because he's because I was asking what he likes to do for work and stuff like that, and he was you get to know your clients, of course. So he said he really likes to stream and things like that and do games, and I was like, all right. And he does art as well, so he does he does art, t-shirts, and he can definitely explain it to you. And then I totally forgot, because my mind goes crazy, then I totally forgot to give him your info, and then his girlfriend messaged me, so he was really thinking about it. I was going to do that. I was going to send it to him, and then so I was he was definitely hearing me for sure. So he'll definitely be probably hitting you up soon.
Excellent.
And I was just that's perfect.
Networking in action, people. That's how it goes.
Already.
You just seen it live right here.
Absolutely. I mean, shoot. If you're trying to grow, let's go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's you just never know. You cast out all these lines, and that's the hardest thing. I'm not sure if, that's why I was asking earlier how you get clientele, because marketing, the whole reason that I'm doing all of this right now is marketing. So then that's been the thing that I've been trying to figure out, right? I've spent literal years in front of my computer, just doing the development part of it and nothing on the marketing side. And I can
totally give you some advice. I don't know if you want to just keep this for yourself or whatever, but this advice,
share with the class.
We could share with the class. Yeah, we could share with the class. But I'm telling you, take little snippets. Okay, if you go to a comedian's social media, just for instance, they don't ever put obviously it's a podcast, but if I would totally create an Instagram or a TikTok or whatever, or something like that.
The
do
shorts.
Reels, and then do the real juicy stuff of the podcast. So, it would be extra work, but it'd be so freaking worth it. The juicy stuff, the good stuff, the stuff that you'd be you'd want them to click the link and go watch the whole video. Yeah. So put those in a reel, so a short clip into or people who do podcasts, go browse their stuff on social media, and then put
little 1 minute snips. That's what I've been doing lately with the shorts. I started dabbling in that. It's pretty interesting.
1 minute or even a little less, but up to 1 minute, absolutely, because people want to hear the tea, and then you want to catch their eye, and I feel that's really where it's at. And I feel just in general, and you can totally reference this to your podcast as well, but basically where social media is going now, they love to see. And I've been meaning to do this. And I've even, whenever I was at, the photo shoot, there was a bunch of stylists that I did their makeup as well, too. I don't know if you knew there was a bunch of stylists over there, too. I was wow. There was a few people in that room, too. And I was like, y'all are, some bomb-ass stylists. Y'all got me sweating over here.
Really?
Yeah, there really was. No,
was
absolutely. I was like, holy crap. No, there's some, amazing stylists in there, too. But, yeah, I did conversated with one of them, and she was even saying how she does a lot of, filming of her, behind the chair. And people love that. It is so crazy. They want to see you. People don't want to see hair videos anymore. Hair videos, but people don't want to see hair pics anymore. If you don't want to see people want to see you as a stylist. Yes. And I feel that's where the industry is going. That's where social media is going, and that's why somebody would pick you over somebody else. Does that make sense?
Because people follow people, not things.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm telling you, people, it's so crazy. Honestly, that's where it's going. That's all I can say. But it's true. I can go on and on, but it's little snippets of your life, little snippets. It's not necessarily personal life every once in a while. Yeah. But it's basically they want to see you work behind the chair. They want dude, you can be cleaning your bowls. And it is a lot. You almost feel you have to film yourself all the time. But it's you cleaning your bowls and then putting some kind of hair tips to help your clients on there. And it's like material. It's like, okay, why are clients following you? Why are people following you? Are they learning something from you? You know, like we follow people for a reason. So it's kind of like you got to get in your own head. Okay, what kind of content can I put out there that people will make me want, that will keep people here? Because they learn from you, they want it, they trust you, and they like you. So they keep coming back.
And you're being transparent, you know.
And like referrals, you know, I feel like those two things, that's where the industry's going. So I see it a lot, especially like people who are high up, even like educators, like it's social media and word of mouth. Yeah.
That's very interesting. I'm still learning it all one step at a time, and then breaking out of the comfort zone like you were talking about earlier. That's like the important thing too. It's like it feels kind of spooky, then you're probably leaning in the right direction, and that's
if you're like, what the hell am I doing? You're doing the right thing.
Oh man, that's kind of how it was with this whole deal. It's like I didn't want to invest super hard, and then I was like, man, screw it, I'm gonna get some furniture, we're just gonna make this thing happen. And then now I'm on like episode 8, you know, almost approaching double digits. So it's been
I know, I've even seen, like, I think I had like kind of looked back at first, and like your like setup even got like improved a lot. I was like, when you first started, I was like, okay.
I didn't even whenever I rolled up from work one day, it was set up like this, and I was like, oh man,
she's probably like, I don't want to see, I gotta see a good background in these videos. But I love it. It's a good setup. She did good.
Yeah, appreciate that. Well, you have any final words you want to hit people with and let them know where to find you?
Freaking chasing your dreams, man, because it can happen for you as well.
Excellent.
Don't give up.
Words to live by. And then I'll post some links for all your social media and where to find you and all that. Well, thank you for coming on.
This was so fun.
Claire Doucet.
Thank you.
I didn't brain numb out on your name this time.
It's all good. You got it. Perfect.
All right. Well, peace out, everybody.